Hi guys, this is Zach from Watches on You, and today I'm going to be making a video comparing the Rolex Explorer 1 214270 and the brand new Omega Seamaster Professional 300 meter. So these watches, I feel, provide a pretty good comparison as their price points are both very similar, and Rolex is really it's considered better than Omega. Basically, everyone considers it. But then Omega came out with this piece, which offers a great deal of value for actually a little bit cheaper than you can get the Rolex Explorer ones. So this watch comes in at a price of $4,850, and then this Rolex 214270, this one has the white gold numerals, and there's actually a special story behind this piece, and you'll be seeing it in an upcoming video as well. So this one you can get around anywhere from $500 to $5,500. So yes, it's a bit more expensive. However, I think people are really going to be considering whether to go with the Omega Seamaster or jump up to a pre-owned Rolex. And this is the new design too, so I think it's a much more excuse me, it's a much better comparison, I think, just in quality wise. So this is a brand new watch, obviously, and this is going to be a pre-owned. So that is one downside with the Rolex. You're not going to be able to get a brand new one near this price as the new 214270s with the loomed 3, 6, and 9. Those are going for brand new at around $6,500. But it will be if you aren't on a waiting list somewhere, you're going to be paying probably a premium on that of about $500 now. So that's one thing to consider between these two pieces. So I'm just going to go over the Omega first. So we've reviewed this watch, so I'm not going to go too in-depth, but it's got a 42mm case. It has the Omega Caliber 8800 master coaxial movement, which gets you an incredible incredible magnetic resistance. So you really won't have to worry about ever magnetizing this timepiece. And you also have I believe it's a 55-hour power reserve in this timepiece, which is going to be greater than the Rolex. So on this, you also do get a date feature, which the Rolex doesn't have, and you get a diving bezel, as this is a dive watch, as well as a helium release valve. So the helium release valve has had some controversy on this specific timepiece, as many people think it looks like a toothpaste cap, and they do not like the styling of it compared to the old model where it was a simple cylinder. So that's one thing to say. Personally, I don't really notice it. I wouldn't mind it whatsoever if I bought this piece, and I would say, if you really like this watch, definitely do not make the toothpaste cap your end-all. So that's just one thing to consider, and it also brings back the wave dial in the older Seamasters, and so that's just one interesting thing, and that'll bring Omega brought back with this timepiece from its heritage. And I love how the date is also at 6 o'clock, keeps the symmetry of the dial, looks very nice. The bezel action is also fantastic. I'll show it actually quick. So it's 120 click, locks down very nicely, zero wiggle whatsoever. And I think that was one of the problems on the old Seamasters, as their bezels were good, but they weren't near up to like the Submariner level. And I think Omega got really close with this. And at this price point, which is vastly lower than a Rolex Submariner, I think that it's got great quality. And that also, same with the movement. The movement is absolutely fantastic, and Rolex is just starting to roll out their new line of movements with the 72-hour power reserve. And I'd say that this watch, if you don't have that new Rolex movement, I'd say that this watch, honestly, based on specs alone, this movement is definitely going to be a much higher much better and more technically, better technically than the Rolex movements. So now I'll go over the Explorer. So this is the Rolex Explorer, and this 214270, this is the white gold 3, 6, and 9 model. It does not have the loomed indexes like the later models, and it does have the same reference, however. But these ones are generally going to be a lot cheaper. You get a thinner case on the Rolex. Sorry for getting this little dirty here. So you're going to have a thinner case on this model, and you're also going to have no clear case back, so you won't be able to see that movement. The bracelet on this is the new Rolex style oyster bracelet, so it's very high quality. I'd say it feels better than the Omega bracelet. The Omega bracelet's very high quality as well. You do get a diver's You get a diver's extension as well as a micro adjust where you can just push it back and forth. You can press, there's a little push button there, and then pull it out. You can see that more in depth in our full review of that timepiece. When on the Rolex, you do only get micro adjusts that are operated via a spring bar tool, or you do get an easy link, which is cool, so you can push it in or you can pull it out, which will give you half a link of extension. So that's kind of a midday. If your wrist starts to swell up, you can get some more length with the bracelet. Clasp, very nice. You can see it's the sports style clasp, but it does have, and it has the kind of pivot there, so you can easily take this watch on and off. You can see it's got the matte dial, and again, it's got the white gold 3, 6, and 9 not loomed, and it does have the very, very bright Rolex blue lume, which is great. The movement on this timepiece, it's definitely going to be a chronometer grade. You don't get the magnetic resistance as much as like you do on the Omega, as well as the power reserve isn't going to be quite at that level. I believe on this timepiece it's 48 hours. And so you're not getting quite the same, I guess, level technically of the movement. However, Rolex's movements are generally considered to be better finished and higher quality in general, even though they might not live up to the same technical specifications of the Omega. So going just kind of overall in general, and this Rolex is a 39mm stainless steel case, I forgot to mention that. So just going overall at these timepieces, the Omega I think is going to serve you as if you want a great sports watch, and it's obviously a little bit more of a standout than the Explorer. The Explorer is if you want something a little bit more subdued, you want that Rolex heritage with the Explorer, and you want that little bit extra Rolex quality. I'd say the quality on Rolex's finishing case, or just on the case itself as well, are just going to be a bit better than the Omega finishing. So if you if you need a dive watch, then get the Omega. This is not a dive watch, but I think the Rolex is going to be more versatile. You can easily pull this watch off with a suit, where the Omega, I'm not really sure if you can. It is a bit it's got a lot of different colors, and it really pops out, which is something that I don't know if you could really wear well with a suit, so that's one thing to consider. I mean, you definitely could, but I think the Rolex definitely fits better with that. And the Rolex is just going to be, again, it's more versatile to wear with different things than the Omega will because of its more subdued nature. So this is really, I'd say, up to personal preference. It's if you want the extra technicality and everything, you want the helium release valve, you want the diver bezel, you want the date, then go with the Omega. However, if those things don't matter quite as much to you and you want the highest quality timepiece possible at the price point, and also value, that's one thing to consider. If you're buying a new Omega, it's not going to hold its value like a pre-owned Rolex. Pre-owned Rolexes almost consistently don't lose any value, or they actually end up going up in value. So that's another thing to consider when looking between these two timepieces, and that's why I think the price difference between these isn't too significant, as the Rolex you're really going to have no chance of losing money on. When the Omega, being a brand new watch, you do have a chance of losing some of your money there, so that's one thing to look at. So yeah, overall, if you want something that's just going to serve you well every single day, you want the extra technical specifications, go with the Omega. If you want as versatile of a watch as possible, say a one-piece collection, or you want the history of Rolex and a true high-end luxury timepiece, then go with the Rolex Explorer 1. This is a heavy hitter timepiece, and I think that you really couldn't go wrong with either of these options. They're just kind of depending on the person you are. So the Omega was provided by JB Hudson Jewelers for the purposes of this review. It's available here for sale right now. It is in stock. So thank you guys for watching this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And when you subscribe, make sure to click that notification bell so you can get notifications whenever we upload a video. Thank you guys for watching.